Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My little random spontaneous video in my bedroom because I felt like doing my TBR video tonight and I thought, why not? We don't always have to do it in front of the bookshelf now, do we? So today I will be doing my TBR game. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will link the video down below. But essentially this is like Cards Against Humanity. We have a genre card and then like a prompt subgenre type card, and we draw 2 of each and then work out which one I want to pick and then choose a book to match that pairing. I'll insert the clips of my draws as well as I go along, as I normally do, but yeah, let's just get into it. So first of all, I will start with the books that I want to read that aren't part of the game. Because I've done this previously where there's some books that I want to read and then I don't end up getting on my prompt. So these 2 books I have here are ones that, like I said, are not part of the game and I just wanted to read them. The first one I have is So This Is Love by Elizabeth Lim. This is one of the Twisted Tale collections from Disney. If you don't know what these are sort of twisted versions of various different Disney fairy tales stories. So they have The Little Mermaid, they have Sleeping Beauty, they have Peter Pan, they have Aladdin, they've got Cinderella. And I was actually given this to read and review by Scholastic Publishing quite a couple of months ago now. And I figured it's probably time to get around to it in August. Basically, I think this one has a very similar plot to the 3rd Cinderella movie, which is, I think, like a twist in time or something like that. And it's what happens if Cinderella never fit the glass slipper and the prince never works out that Cinderella is the one that he was dancing with at the ball. So I think from the movie, the stepmother, Lady Tremaine, she ends up stealing the fairy godmother's wand and then makes a wish and like reverses time so that she can destroy the slipper so Cinderella can't try it on and prove that she's Cinderella. But yeah, I think that's what this one is about. Pretty much the same sort of story as the 3rd Cinderella movie. I definitely am looking forward to it because Cinderella is one of my favorite Disney movies. It is my favorite fairy tale and I absolutely love the idea of you don't get that usual happily ever after scenario, and I like the whole changing things and I like that whole idea. So that's definitely one that I would like to get to in August. The next one you probably would have seen a couple of months ago as well, but I'm trying to get back into it and wanting to pick it up again. And that is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I'm actually joining up with a group on Twitter and we're going to buddy read this together. But I did try and read this a couple of months ago and I got, I think, about like 100 and almost 200 pages in. So I have 50 pages to go until I reach part 2. I was so close, but I started reading this just before I went back to work after we were closed for about 5 weeks because of COVID. And it was definitely not a good decision because everything was still pretty crazy and I was busy and stressed and hectic and it was mayhem for that point in time. So I didn't end up getting to finish it, and I did try and read it in June as well, but I was in a bit of a reading slump in June, so that didn't work. So I'm hoping that August will be the month that I can pick this up and continue it and try and finish it. And I'm hoping that it'll be good this time because I'll have people doing the same sort of thing as me, and that sort of motivates each other to do it, I guess, when you have other people doing the same thing. But I think that'll be good. It'll be a good idea, and I look forward to reading this and continuing this because I've heard so many good things. People have recommended this. They have highly recommended this. So I don't understand why it's so hard to continue it. Like, I don't hate it. I just needed to read it in a time where I wasn't so stressed and crazy and also in a reading slump. So we will see how I go with this one. Now let's get into the game. So the first prompt that I had was a historical fiction that I picked myself. So if you can't tell, I have changed these cards around as well. So I've added the colors sort of to match my feed, and I've changed some prompts and added some new ones as well, just to keep it fresh and interesting. But the first book for the historical fiction Choose My Own is Kim Kelly's Walking. I've been wanting to read this since it came out, and she recently just released a new book as well that I really want to read. I wanted to add that to this, but it's more contemporary rather than historical fiction, so I'm just going to go with this one. So this is set in Sydney in 1948. I believe it follows a main character who's going through a famous doctor's papers. So this doctor is like a renowned doctor who's just died, and she's going through his papers, finding glimpses of his past and everything, and understanding what Australia was like back when she was younger and didn't realize how much prejudice there was. She is actually a physiotherapist herself, I believe, because she grew up with, I think, some kind of crippling pain, and that's how she knew this doctor, because he was able to fix her and help treat her pain. And so that's why she became a physiotherapist. And then this patient comes into her life, and he's got a fractured leg, and she's pretty much trying to work out the truth behind who he is, why he hasn't, like, how he got his injured leg. But there's also a love story, and then there's like a mystery, and there's a rival surgeon that comes into it. Something like that. I know I'm probably describing this book absolutely terribly, but I love Kim Kelly's writing and I love her books, and I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. I've been meaning to read this one since it came out last year, I think it was. Very intrigued. I love when books are set in the 40s or when they have like flashbacks. So yeah, I look forward to reading this. The next one I have was a retelling that was a recent purchase. I kind of wanted to read, pick a different book that I had, but I thought maybe if it's a recent purchase, I should keep it within about a month, or like at least the last 2 months. So I'm going with The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. I'm sure you've all seen this and heard everything about this everywhere on Bookstagram and BookTube, but essentially this is like a retelling, reimagining of Les Mis, and I absolutely love it because of the cover. It's gorgeous, and I'm really intrigued to read this, not just because of the cover, but because it's a retelling of Les Mis, which I still haven't watched, and I am disappointed in myself. But I will hopefully get to this one because I've heard many, many good things about it. This next one that we have is a fantasy that has been on my TBR for quite some time. So I have picked Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This has been on my TBR for years. I think I got this maybe in like 2015. I would say it's been at least 5 years since this has been on my bookshelf, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why I haven't gotten to it yet, but there's been a lot of talk about this series, this particular series, in fact, of hers, going around on BookTube a lot, actually, that people are participating in like a read along and just like reading it now. And I've been coming across it a lot, and a lot of people are talking about how amazing it is. And I know it's been out for a while, but I think it's just been recently a lot of people are actually picking it up and reading it. And I've heard so many good things because apparently this is a really good series. One that is good at getting you started into high fantasy as well, because I don't generally read a lot of high fantasy and I would like to get into it more. This one I am hoping will get me into it. I believe this is the first book in the Fitz and the Fool trilogy or something like that. All I know is that Fitz is like, I think he's a bastard son, something like that. But anyway, he ends up being trained to be an assassin, and that is all I really know. But I've heard people who've read this series, have been reading this series, say how fantastic it is. I definitely want to join in on that because I've heard quite a lot and I know that I'm probably going to love it. I haven't really heard any negative stuff about it, so it should be good.
To the beat.
Last one I have is a book that is my favorite color and is a classic. So for this one, my favorite color is green, but I also love purple and I also love red. I picked The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. The spine is green. There is green on the cover, plus there's purple in the little makeup thing, and then there's red. I have been wanting to read this for ages. I don't really like the cover too much, but I got it because I couldn't find another cover anywhere else that wasn't super expensive. So I'm going with this one because it's one of those classics that is on my must-read list, and I know that I've got to read this. As heavy as it's probably going to be, I know that it's probably going to be good. So I'm looking forward to this. I know that it focuses on like depression and a possible suicide attempt. But it was published in 1963 originally, and it's based in like the 50s. So I definitely look forward to reading this, what is depicted as a modern classic. Like I said, I know it's going to be heavy, but it's one that I've been wanting to read and one that I feel like I should read, that I need to read, especially when it focuses on mental health. Well, there we go, guys. I know that was sort of a relatively quick video. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know if you recommend any of these, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.